everybody. It's a late night Spill the Immunity with Brandon and myself. Brandon, we just finished watching one of the best seasons I think we've seen in a long time. What did you think of tonight? What's your hot take?
Well, the first thing I got to say is this. Knock, knock. Like,
Oh my
if
God.
that's not textbook David, then
I know.
I mean that almost brought like season 1 Greg Bowie's type flavor to the game. Like let's go all nostalgic on this one. Just a little knock knock joke in a fantastic 4-vote winner end of the season, which I mean the last time it was this close was Wendell, Dominic, Ghost Island, everybody's favorite, right? 5-5 even. So like the least amount of votes for a winner. Best season I can remember. This beats Queen D's season that I love, love, love. And I think there's many reasons why this season was so good. And this was one of the best finales, if not the best finale of the new era we've ever seen.
I have to agree. And here's the thing. And I got to do the Camilla. So she got him to stop. I was like, man, she better speak up.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, I got you. That was I loved it. I knew it was coming. I wish they had said more, like going back to that first thing. Yeah. But they really showed. Yeah, I can't even talk.
You get choked
really
up.
Showed. I know.
Yeah.
But they showed, yo, we had you played.
Yeah. Yeah, we had you play. And I love the line about what they said about, hey, like these guys may have been the most vocal best pairing, but I mean, them using that line and then Kyle coming in with that clips of, but we were the best couple, like that won the game right there. That was so good. I mean, we have notes galore, I'm sure. We're going to keep this one short tonight. But Bree, gosh, I mean, to be voted out, let's start with the Mitch thing real quick. To be voted out because you're lovable. I mean, he was laughing, crying through that, being like I can't do anything, better than this. Like I played such an likable, awesome. I'm such an awesome person that you don't want to take me anywhere.
And I really still don't think Mitch would have won at that point. I don't think he had a chance. I think, here's my hot take from this. Just this final tribal was Ava coming through so strong.
Yeah.
She was dropping stuff. It wasn't enough as we saw, but she really came through super strong in this one. And were you surprised by that?
You know what? I wasn't so surprised, especially since she mentioned all the accolades that she has in life. I almost wonder, and this is not a knock on autism, this is not a knock on Ava, but I almost wonder if, we talked about this 2-3 episodes ago, if she not played up, but utilized that autism thing so much that we looked at her an autistic player and not just a great survivor player. Because Mary was right. Ava played a game that no one has ever played before. And it wasn't just that she trusted people unlike anybody else, but she knew that one of her weaknesses is that she can't lie. And she kept with, she didn't tell a single lie the whole entire season and got second place. And if Mitch hadn't, Mitch told us, I'm only voting for Kyle if he tells us what he did. And if Kyle failed to do that, and maybe because the Camilla, I got you thing, then Camilla, it could have been 3-3, tie vote. Joe picks the winner. Guess who's Joe's picking? And so I almost wonder if she would have just played as a person. The autism story wasn't as hot as it was. Maybe.
Well, yeah. And I really liked Mary's, her confessional, and that when she was voting, like she really personified the season of the struggles and the truth and a different game. And she had a lot of things going for her, right? The physicality, but then also a lot of other things. And she made these relationships, and she was true to people, and she made, she even made that connection with Star and the way we saw her get through so much stuff,
Mhm.
I was I was really surprised by some of it.
I was too. I was too. She played a great game of checkers. Kyle and Camilla played a great game of chess.
Yeah, 100%.
That's really what it was. I mean, the things that uh, Ava was saying about how great their game was would have won seasons 1 through 12. Like that would have done it. However, the fact that Kyle was always that, well, hold on, we knew about that. Wait, hold on, we actually did something about that. I had immunity, and guess what I did with that? So like
Yeah.
they played a great game if they weren't on a season with Kyle and Camilla. And
Yeah.
as we saw in the finale, Camilla would have won this had
I know, and that was the other thing that was like, hands down, she would have won it. And I think that's a little surprising to me, but I really like it.
Mhm.
But Kyle showed like that was the strategy, and we would only exchange 10 words and just keep walking in the other direction. And we were able to strategize and do these things. I don't, without each other, they couldn't have done it. The
Mhm.
thing that struck me on this was when Eva was like, "We're the best duo to ever play this game," and I'm like, that got me thinking too about a lot of duos. Let's take Kyle and Camilla out of it. Did they really have the best game? Do we really think that they're the
That's a
best
great question.
duo to
Yeah.
play the game?
Yeah, so the edit made it seem like we were supposed to think that, right? Did they play? I mean, they had more emotional connections, and no one was going against them. I think part of it was the fact that Ava had the idol, which she could have played on Joe at any given time. But Kyle and Camilla were exactly right. I think voting off Mitch at that time, I don't think there was a bad decision really there for them to vote anybody off. When it
Just
came
each
to
other.
but yeah, because just each other. And that then you start asking the question like, should you have done that? Should Camilla or Kyle have gone against the other? But I don't think that either one of them would have had the votes
They had the same
necessarily.
game. They
Right,
had the same game. They
right,
couldn't have they couldn't have gotten to the end
right,
without each other, and they couldn't have won the game with them both together.
right. And
Because
you almost want you. I mean, that immunity was huge for Kyle because even though they wouldn't have done it, and you and I, unless you think otherwise, if Joe or Ava would have won, and they would not have sent one of the other people, they would have sent Kyle and Camilla to that fire.
yeah,
No
100%.
way would Joe especially send Ava because he's about to do the fire making for her. So in no way, shape, or form were they able to do it, and that's what makes them the second best, or maybe even the third, fourth, fifth best couple, because if you're really the strongest couple, you play to win the game, and neither one were willing to win the game over the other person.
Sacrificing the other person. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think that's what it comes down to. And I
Amazing
agree
Race
with
would have
that.
won. They should go on Amazing Race and try that out. Like that.
That would be perfect for them. I agree. There they would really, really excel.
And I would watch them too. I think they're fantastic to watch, and that connection is huge. It won the hearts of everybody. But Kyle and Camilla were the best. And Brie, we keep on talking about how you kind of played the season around the season that everybody just got done watching. And in this case, it wasn't last season with Rachel, but it was the
The season.
Maria and Charlie thing,
Mhm.
a big couple situation. So you almost wonder if Camilla was like, I'm not doing what Maria did, and that is not vote my guy, right? What do you
Yeah.
think about that? Do you think that's just who Camilla is, or do you think that in the back of their minds they're thinking, like, let's not do what we just saw happen with Charlie and Maria?
Yeah, I think I honestly just totally believe that Camilla and Kyle just
Had that.
which is what makes them such an amazing duo. I think one of the best I've ever seen play because they had so little time together to strategize, and nobody found them out the entire season.
Right. And
Nobody.
they had three big moves, and they waited like multiple episodes to pull off a great move again. So they
Exactly.
knew not to stay in the spotlight for way too long. There's a couple episodes where we are saying, hey, like, are you keeping Joe in too long? And they punked Joe so many times this season. They're like, we don't have to take Joe out. We have a lot of things that we've done against everything that Joe's tried to build, minus Ava. And do you think they are the best two-person alliance of all time?
I have to give it some thought. I mean, I didn't really think about it until this episode when they started talking about it at Final Tribal.
Mhm.
So for me, I don't know, but they're in my at least my top 3
Yeah.
just because of the effectiveness.
Right.
And one of them won, and that they were both so straightforward about it at the end. We can't sit together.
Right.
One of us is going to go forward.
Mhm.
And the other one's got to help that person win.
Mhm.
And they were on the same page with that.
Yeah.
So there wasn't this, I've got to vote you out. Sorry, too bad for you.
Right.
It was this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I think, I know that everyone said, "Oh, I'd vote for Camilla." Like every one of them would have voted for Camilla.
Mhm.
But I honestly think that a lot of the people would have locked in their vote for Camilla.
Yeah.
Because of the way she helped Eva build fire.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that you even motivated her and you still were able to pull it off.
And at that point, that would never have happened if she was in the, final. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wouldn't have played out that way. So
totally agree.
It's kind of one of those things where I get it. They were like, we love Camilla, but then
I would have enjoyed a Kyle versus Camilla final. And
I thought we were going to get it.
You know what, Brie, maybe that was it too. Like, what if Camilla gets put there while everybody's saying, Camilla wins the vote? So again, that goes to show that, maybe more of a downfall for Joe and Ava was that they did not. I mean, Chris even tried to point it out, and Joe got in there and kind of said his piece about that. So Kyle and Camilla both were playing that game of chess really well and knew exactly what needed to happen to win that game. Yeah.
Biggest disappointment about tonight?
Biggest disappointment. Well, first, I want to make sure, as far as couples that come to mind, I mean, the Wendell Dominic thing, they've got to be in, I think, almost everybody's top 5. Rob and Amba has to be there. You might think like a JT and Steven Fishbach type thing. But, with these two, Camille and Kyle, they were never in such despair the whole entire season. Like some of these guys who were very quick to be eliminated. A couple times Camilla's name was mentioned, but they pretty much easily iced that out every single time. Disappointment for the night. Oh my goodness. Well, do you have
to give you mine?
Yeah, please, because
Waka Waka.
We didn't get any songs tonight. We didn't get.
We did, and that was my disappointment for the evening.
Yeah, the soundtrack of Survivor kind of just diminished right there. We did get, how to properly hold a milk, whether you are
was. I could have done without any of David tonight. I did go down through and I wrote some of the just like one word about what each person asked.
Mm-hmm.
And and David of course goes to challenges because that's what his whole game was challenges. But of all the questions that were asked, I liked Mitch's question about leverage. Like, how did you leverage other players?
Yep.
Because I think that what that gives people is a good understanding of their strategy when it comes to how are they going to, how are they working and weaving their way through the game? How are you leveraging others? What are you doing? How did you leverage others during this game? Right? Instead of saying, were the challenges the big thing, or some of the other questions aren't as telling.
Yeah.
So I really like Mitch's look at that and saying, how did you leverage?
He framed it in a way that I've never heard of before. And I think the word they used to use was, how did you manipulate? How did you, that kind of thing. So it's a very nice reframing of, hey, how did you use or manipulate us? But
backstabbed, betray.
I like that season 48 touch of the word leverage. As far as my grade, I thought Joe's first answer, you have to come out strong and stronger. And when Cedric asked the question about what was your weakness coming in here, Joe was talking about wear his emotions on his sleeve type thing, which
I gave him a thumbs down for that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't like his answer on that one.
I thought his answer should have been, hey, I'm a 45-year-old male who's strong, and we don't do well in this game because we get voted off, just after the merge. And he endured and had the emotional and relational connections with almost everybody. So I thought that was a weak answer on his part, and maybe why he did get only the one vote. If you have told me at the beginning of the season that Joe was going to be in the final and only got one vote, I would have been shocked.
We would have, yeah, even if like 4 episodes ago, we probably would have been in shock over it.
Right. But I think he was just so, everybody was like, okay, I guess he could have stayed in the game. Like, someone has to play better than Joe, and they did. That's what happened. And we've been saying this whole entire season, whoever gets Kyle and Joe out will win this game. Camilla could have. Ava could have. I really do think if she would have turned on Joe, if she would have won immunity and sent Joe to fire, like that would have been crazy. It wasn't ever going to happen. We knew that, Brie. We knew that.
Yeah.
So do you need some waka waka? Some
I needed a little of something that tonight, because I did, that is what Shaheen brought. I mean, we saw Star bringing her snark, her personality, and her, herself to it. Even Chrissy was a little bit tonight, and I was pretty happy about that. We remembered that she was playing the game, so that was good.
Yeah.
Yes. And I do like her a lot. I just wanted to hear more from her and get more from her, and Cedric as well. So, and maybe it's because, they were the first jury members, and that was so long ago that this old brain can't remember them as well.
Yeah.
But, David never let
what's
him.
that word, old? I mean, they called Maria old. And
I know.
Chrissy got on him.
Yeah.
Chrissy got on him.
That's right. So.
Yeah. What from the next, Friday at 9 a.m. We'll be together live. People come on and talk about the show and say whatever you need to say. But Bree, tonight for you, what was the big moment besides Kyle winning? What was like the biggest moment of this finale?
The biggest moment from this finale, I love to see, from the whole episode, I like to see the come from behind win. Mm-hmm. And I knew that was one of Camilla's like biggest things, is that she never thought she could win, and she did come from behind and covered in mud. So that was actually one of my favorite parts of the episode, was watching her come through. And she kept saying, I kept hearing this voice saying, you can do it, you can do it. I'm like, that was Jeff in the background. I don't know if you know he's there, but he's yelling it.
Yeah. Jeff's the good angel on your shoulder. Yeah. Yes.
So I think now the good angel will always have Jeff Probst's voice in my brain. But for me, that was just like such a terrific part of the episode. They're tired, they're hungry, they've been through a lot, and to see her persevere. And I think that's one of the things that we love about the show, is seeing perseverance. So for me, that was the highlight. Of course, Kyle winning was fantastic. And I thought that he did a great job expressing himself. But we knew he was going to do that because he's a lawyer and that's what he does. So
he does. Yeah.
What about you?
I loved when Joe was sitting down there, just all like laying down on that on the shelter, and all of a sudden Ava comes and tells him all the accolades, and then Kyle says about the lawyer, and Joe's eyes are so big, just like, this is what's going on. And that's kind of where I was like, dude, you're not going to win this game.
I'm just a firefighter. I'm still just a firefighter.
Just an effing firefighter. That was pretty funny. And I think also my favorite part was, I wrote down before the episode the vote order of Mitch, and then I did have Camilla and Ava switched. I thought that they would go to fire. I did have Ava losing fire, so that was a big moment for me that I didn't get that right. I don't want to be right. I want to be surprised and everything else. And so that was huge for me. But then I think the biggest part for me this whole entire show is that I had Kyle. I wanted him to win. I thought he was going to win, and he did it. He won in the way that is textbook. That's a season that the winner. This is a season where the winner cannot be denied. Kyle
Absolutely.
is the winner of this season. And I love that.
I love that. And it's a good place for us to wrap things up for the night. We're going to be back on Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to do a full recap, and it's the end of our season of the fans. We're bringing them all back. They're coming back. We're going to have a rowdy bunch with us Friday morning. Alex is off in Kyoto right now. So he is, or on Fiji. We're not really sure.
I was watching for him on 49.
I was really watching to see if that would be him, because he's been over there for a long time now. So we won't know if he all of a sudden appears on our screens. I would not be surprised. But I want to say congratulations to you. You are the draft winner. You picked him first. Kyle was your number one pick, and he won. So congratulations on that. We are excited. We've got a lot more Survivor coming up Friday, and then next week we're going to be talking, because on Wednesday, May 28th, they have announced that they will be unveiling the season 50 contestants, players, survivors that are going to be coming back to play the game again, and we're excited for that, and we're going to be doing some updates about that as well. But thanks for hanging out with us. New people, Scott, great to have you here. We'll see you guys Friday morning live. Until then, keep that fire burning.